Okay, so here is my blended squash with kale. Now, the reason I used kale was because I did not have the vegetable broth that was already prepared. So this was my shortcut to put kale and onions and ginger and garlic in the blend. But if you have already got a vegetable broth prepared, then you could have just used the vegetable broth with the soup without having to add all the kale and everything. But anyway, so the idea is to have a thicker part of the soup, which is this. But for now, I'm going to now start using my pot with all the other ingredients. Now I have these curry leaves that were kept frozen, but if you have fresh ones, that's wonderful, but they still are pretty good. Then I will add my onions. Now I've already got onions in this. I'm not adding a whole lot. Got ginger and garlic chopped up. All of that goes in here. I also have 2 bay leaves, about 4 cloves and 4 cardamoms. All of that goes in. Then a little bit of black pepper. You can always reduce the amount if you're not so fond of it. Then I have some mustard. That's a lot. I'm going to use half of that. Fenugreek, a little bit of that. And then some turmeric. So turmeric again, you can use as liberally as you want. It doesn't really have much of its own taste, but it really is antioxidant boosting. So I'm going to add all of this here. Now I will, because I was planning to have carrots and celery stick, but I didn't have that. But I have leek from my freezer, so those are the swaps that we should be ready to make. You know, if the recipe calls for something and you don't have it, that's fine. You could replace it with something else. And then because I didn't have carrots, but I had 2 kinds of beets here, so I just peel them, chop them, and they will all go into this, and it'll nicely get sauteed. I'll cook it for a little while, and it'll get sauteed. Once that is done, then I'm going to top it up with a little more of water and put my soup into it. And yes, I wanted to add some shredded coconut. So because we're not using oil, this is a very good way of introducing whole fats. So this coconut is not extracted oil, which is the problem, but this is whole coconut. So that goes in, and that will give a really nice creaminess to this whole soup. So now we'll just keep on stirring it a little bit. Now once this looks like it's been sauteed a little bit and it's softened up, I think this will take about 30 minutes for everything to get nicely mixed. Then I will add potatoes halfway through, and then once it's all cooked, then that squash will go into it. And if you want, you can add some extra salt at this point or after you've finished cooking. But with soups, it's better not to add salt initially because everyone has different tastes, so you can add later on. Okay, so here I'm going to use mushrooms. I'm just sauteing them in water. It's totally up to you if you want to use oil for it. Just use a little bit less, so you're cutting down on that, but I just don't like cooking a lot with oils. And these mushrooms, once they get nicely sauteed, they'll just go on top of the whole soup. Okay, so see, down the mushrooms completely sauteed in water. They're smelling really good, and I don't think I need any oil. I'm trying to really avoid cooking oils because that's what causes the problem in our intestinal lining. The oil forms that coating, especially cooked oil. It starts to create oxidative damage, and then our intestinal wall is not able to absorb enough food. So wherever I can avoid oil, I do that. And this mushrooms can be sauteed really well. Now if you added salt to it and some green chilies, it will just taste really nice and crisp. And this will just go on top of the whole soup once it's done. So now I have added some pomegranate seeds just to give a little tanginess to it. But if you don't have dried pomegranate seeds, you can go add tomatoes. I avoid tomatoes. Those are my pomegranate seeds. I avoid tomatoes because of joint pain issues. I know it has oxalic acid, but if you're okay with it, go ahead, add it. Now this is almost cooked. The beetroot is still kind of a little firm, but at this point I will add the squash blend, and I may not have to add all of it. You can always store it for later, store it in your freezer. I'll see how much thickness I want in this soup, and accordingly I will add. So let's see how that's going. Now this is giving a really nice blend of a lot of vegetables and colors, which is exactly what we need to have diversity in our gut. When we have a diverse kind of vegetarian diet, then we help grow a diverse set of bacteria which are really healthy and help us with everything from our skin and hair and nails to our mood to our digestion to our joint pains. So if this is the consistency you want, that's fine. But if you want it thicker, which I think I want it a little thicker today, so I'll just add some more of this. And once all of this is done, then I'll top it up with my sauteed mushrooms, which we saw earlier. I also have some tofu with me, which I think I will add on top of that. For now, I will let it cook for a little bit. I had said I will add potatoes, but now I'm in two minds. I don't think I need potatoes in this, but sure, go ahead. If you feel like adding potatoes at this stage, you can do this. So it's got a nice tanginess to it. Adjust the salt and pepper at this stage, or any spiciness you want with red chili pepper powder, or even a roasted garam masala if you want. This is the time to start looking at taste and adjusting it, and let it cook for a little bit, and you're ready. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, that looks good to me. Now if I hadn't added kale, then definitely it would be a little different color, but that's it. So everything is nicely cooked. The beetroots are soft, and I've just had a little taste of it. It tastes good to me, but at this point you can go ahead, taste, add any other spices you want. And on top of this, I'm going to add my sauteed mushrooms. Now mushrooms are really good for many things. They do give a lot of good bacteria to us. They help a lot of processes in our body, so try and add mushrooms as much as you can. So there you go. Now we have mushrooms, and I will add some leftover tofu in it as well. That will give a nice bite to the whole thing. There. So I hope you enjoy this.